Welcome to Rainy Tuesdays, a podcast by friends for friends. I'm here with Adam.
Hello.
And Margot.
Hi.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Doing all right?
Good.
Been a crazy little time. Took a little week break. I don't think any of us have tons and tons of updates. But we have some.
My car got crashed. That's
Stop saying it like that. Yeah. It's like a terrifying way to word it.
Best thing is my car was dented. Because my girlfriend backed into a tree.
Happens to the best of us.
It certainly does, but it's fixed. And yeah.
That's my favorite thing about driving is that sometimes you have a little oopsie. Sometimes you back into a wall or a tree or something and you're just like, oops. But it doesn't actually cause real damage and you're fine. It's the best kind. Oh man. You gotta say where you guys were leaving.
Oh, a burlesque show.
Yeah. But
what kind of burlesque?
Yeah.
A Star Wars parody burlesque show. It's called The Empire Strips Back. It's playing in Chicago right now.
Incredible.
I believe it's like a city by city. I don't know how long they're in Chicago for, but it was very good. I recommend if they come to your city or if you live in Chicago or Chicago area.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds amazing. I really think much like calling it a car crash is an overstatement. Calling it just a burlesque show is an understatement.
It was very impressive. The props were very elaborate, far more than I was expecting. It was very cool.
Fair.
The theater only smelled like weed after the show, so that was
nice.
a plus as well.
Respectful. We love it. Oh man. I will always maintain that I do think there should be weed sections of
smoking sections,
smoking sections, but for weed.
I feel like the smell travels far more than cigarette smoke, though.
It sure does, but if you put them up high, it works. Cause the parties that I would go to in college, we always had, it was one house that we would always go to, that some of the jiu-jitsu people lived at. And the basement was for live music, rolling, which is sparring, and just hanging out, usually not impaired in various ways. The main floor was for drinking, and the top floor was for weed. And I never smelled weed unless someone from the top floor came down and tried to hug me. And then I was like, ooh, because I don't like the smell of weed. It's so intense. But but it was wonderful. And they smoked a lot. But it stayed up there. So I don't know. I trust it. Oh man. Yeah. I do think though it's best to have all that stinkiness in an area. I was gonna go into a rant about edibles, but I'm not gonna do that.
Well, that's was gonna be my solution instead. Is hey, you can ingest weed by not smoking it, and so it doesn't smell. So just do that instead.
So here's my pitch. I am gonna go into my rant about edibles. Okay. If we're gonna do that, I prefer them. It's the only way I've ever had weed is little vegan gummies, and they're 10 milligrams, but I cut them in quarters because 10 is way too much for me. So I have a very low tolerance for everything, so I go 2.5.
That will last you a long time.
It sure did. I just ran out and I think I got them when I went to Illinois last. So 2021. I think if at bars or whatever, as weed becomes more legal, instead of chasers for alcohol shots, you should have chasers for the edibles, because your mouth still tastes a little like weed. even if it's like a raspberry gummy, which is the type that I had, right? It's like the first front taste is a little raspberry, but then the aftertaste is so weedy, and I don't like that. I don't want that. So I always either brush my teeth right after having it or like immediately need like a very like potent flavor in my mouth to cover it. So that's my recommendation is little chaser shots, not of alcohol, but of like, I don't know, orange juice, pickle
Orange
juice,
juice
do a
would.
pickleback, but for weed. It would work.
I think that's a very small audience you're targeting, which is mainly
Yeah,
you.
it's just me. It's
Because
for
a lot of
me.
people like the smell.
Yeah, which I don't get. It smells like skunk.
It smells horrible. Yeah.
If you get used to it, or if you get really
So
high.
well, sure. At that point, you just don't care about much. But um, you have made the comparison of like the smell of weed to the smell of coffee, which
Yeah.
I think is like other than mashed potatoes, maybe the thing I disagree with you about the most. Because like I love the smell of coffee, but I hate the smell of weed. I think they're nothing alike.
To me, they smell very similar.
That's so interesting. I
I
don't
should
get
try
it.
CBD infused coffee. Be like, I don't know
Oh,
which one I smell more.
I feel like that would be a little wild. Um,
That
so
does
zen yet
exist.
so awake. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Just in the same way like Four Loco does. Should it? No. But oh man. Well, that's been our substance talk. Um
You know, speaking of cannabis, there's a subreddit called r/trees, which is not actually about trees.
how misleading. What is
That
it about?
subreddit has gone private this week, I think.
So what's going on Reddit? Because like all I have heard is Reddit's gone dark, third parties. Question mark, that's all I know. What does any of that mean?
So I've only ever like seen like secondhand comments about it. I
Hmm.
believe what it is Reddit is making a change to their policy for like using their API, which is
Okay.
essentially like for like the background code. So a lot of these third party apps can use Reddit's API in order to like make their apps, or like different
Oh.
bots can use that in order to like run on their services. And so
Okay.
before, I don't think they've charged anything for it, but they're going to start charging for it. And from what I
Mm,
understand, I think they're charging a ridiculous amount of money to use
It's
it.
it's like we're charging, but we're charging a price so absurd that no one's gonna pay it.
okay. So effectively getting rid of a lot
Just
of
getting
these
rid of all
things.
these third party apps that use their services, I
I gotcha.
guess.
Mhm.
Okay. And the people have spoken out against this, right? That's some
Yeah,
of
I
the
think the
biggest.
concern is a lot of people use these third party apps and prefer them to Reddit's official website or official app.
Okay.
And they think that Reddit has made a lot of changes to display or whatnot, and that they don't like, and they prefer however these other third apps do things. And they view this move as instead of improving Reddit's existing features that they don't like, of just killing the competition so there's no other place to go,
Right.
which is maybe
Fair.
true.
Yeah, like seems like it. But is that an issue? I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah,
businessman.
I mean, it's funny to me because I've
Mhm.
only ever used the Reddit official app or the website, and only in relatively recent times. I know there's like another move about old Reddit that
Oh,
people, which is another thing
Yeah.
that's not third party, but it's similar, that
like
people are worried it's going to be
missing it
killed.
or
Yeah, missing it.
So,
It's a way you can still use Reddit, but I guess through its old interface,
mhm,
okay.
is
which some
my
people
understanding.
prefer.
Yeah, which
Gotcha.
some
And
people prefer, which I think looks awful, but
yes,
Well, you're
that's
used to what you're
that's
used to.
me. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But I like the app, or at
yeah.
least am fine with it. I don't see any problems with it. Um, I don't know. It does what I want it to do.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, I've been around Reddit for like 8 years, 8+ years. And I don't know. I just think this is silly. And I've seen pretty like similar outrage.
Yeah.
Like with like the Reddit redesign, like they announced the redesign and there was a big backlash against it. So that's why the old Reddit exists.
Mm.
I think one of the features with old Reddit is like subreddits can like create custom themes. And so like if you use old Reddit and go to it, like it looks pretty different and like very creative versus new Reddit where it's all like the exact same.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
so a lot of people like that, and people are upset about that feature. I'm like, I don't know. I think new Reddit's nice. It,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
think it
fine.
looks fine. I like one big thing. I don't actually know how it is referred to, but the way posts are displayed on the new version is, I think they call it card view,
Yeah.
where the picture is the focus and not the text. You don't have to
Mm.
click on the post to see the linked picture. And
Oh,
I
that is
vastly
nice.
prefer that way of
Yeah.
viewing posts. The same with like videos. Some people prefer the old way of it just being the text first. You have to click on it to see it. That sucks.
Yeah.
in my
I think, I don't know. I think it's, I don't know. Also, like the protests, like good on people for protesting, but also
Yeah.
they only protested for like a day, and
Well, so
most of it is
this is
back.
the only part I know about this is that everyone was like, we're doing 48 hours, union strong. And then the like owner of Reddit or CEO or whatever he is was like, that they're gonna come back. It's not really gonna put that much of a dent in our revenue. We don't care. And so then not everyone, but like all of the people that were like pushing for it in the first place, like the original people, and some of like the biggest subreddits were like, oh yeah, well now we're doing it indefinitely. And I don't know if they actually will or not, but that's what they said they do. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The couple subreddits that I frequent are back.
Mhm.
I don't use Reddit very in depth though, so I don't know how many have returned and how many are still privated.
The only one that I remember the name of, just because I thought it was a really funny name, was r/aw.
Raw.
No.
No. Oh, I guess it is raw. Oh no.
I was also a little annoyed too because I was watching Ted Lasso. I was like watching episode
Ooh.
discussions like on
Hmm.
Reddit, just see what other people are saying. But then the
Oh,
subreddit got privated, and I was like, oh,
no.
never mind.
Guess I can't now. Oh
um,
man.
I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I remember Reddit did something like fast
Mhm.
over like something else protesting, and it didn't really make that much of a difference because like Reddit has like gold goals
Mm.
like on the sidebar. I think you can only view it on old Reddit, but I remember like when people like shut down Reddit like a few years ago, they like hit their gold goal, and they
Oh.
did the exact same like when they shut all the subreddits down because like not all the subreddits shut down, people still
Oh.
used it, so or defeats
So
the
like
purpose.
the lower ones. I see. Okay. I don't know. It's been interesting. I feel like we're like constantly on the precipice of a big like social media shift. Just like with the constant downfall of Twitter, and like um TikTok being threatened every now and then. Um, I don't know. I feel like we're just constantly looking at a possible change.
Yeah, I
Um,
see that, but I also like I think people are too addicted to social media to actually change.
oh,
Like people will be upset
fair.
with like um Reddit, but like at the end of the day, Reddit's still gonna work. There's still be
Right.
community. Maybe some communities won't come back, but like people just create new communities, find new.
That's true. Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I think it was a good effort,
Mm-hmm.
but it also just feels silly. Like whoever the like CEO of Reddit is always gonna get a ton of hate for
Sure.
whatever they
Yeah.
do. I don't know. They're like used to be like a CEO before, like the current guy, because the current guy and his roommate built Reddit, and then the roommate like retired. I
I
think is
don't know
married to
why
like
that's like
Serena Williams.
embarrassing to me. Just like I don't know, just being like, yeah, me and my roommate made it. Like that feels less like impressive than it is. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think as long as it works, I could
Right.
see maybe Twitter not exist
Yeah, I
because
could see Twitter
it's running
Twitter.
so
falling apart.
poorly.
It is interesting though in that there really aren't alternatives. Like people are always like, "Well, what's the
No.
new one?" But there isn't a new one, and there are
There's
like some
Just tweet
competitors, but
longer.
they well, but they're like some people
What's the
say
long form?
Mastodon
yeah,
is a name I've heard, but I've
that's
also
sort of
heard it
fizzled out.
sucks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
didn't think that was going to be a real challenger.
The
And
big
maybe
one,
people are coming back to Tumblr. Um,
Should we
But
start Rainy
uh,
Tuesdays Tumblr? I don't know what that would even look like. I
I don't
didn't
know
do
how
Tumblr when
Tumblr
it was
works.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how Tumblr works.
Sorry.
Um,
It's
2014
intimidating.
girlies. I'm sorry.
I think Blue Sky is the one that like might actually take off. The only thing with it is like it's invite only right now. You have to like request to get an account. I think anyone can do, but still like
But that's a
it's not
That's
very
hurdle.
weird.
easy.
You won't do.
Yeah.
The other big thing too is you can't upload videos or photos,
What about
which is a lot
porn?
of Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's text based, I
What?
guess you probably can't.
What? Has its place.
That
And
is
only
wild to not
250
have that
words,
feature
characters.
for. Well, I guess that's what Twitter started as. So
Did it?
maybe.
I thought you could always do pictures. I also wasn't on Twitter.
I don't know. I wasn't really on Twitter, so I could be wrong. But in modern social media, it seems
Yeah.
like pictures and videos is
Like
a
Among
vital
Us.
function of your service that everyone
Totally.
requires.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you would just not have that. They're working on it, I guess.
Well, speaking about Twitter, people on there go crazy for therapy. Insensitive word to use, but yep, that's the transition.
I guess that's what we're sticking with this time.
Behind the scenes, we tried it once, and then I decided, nope. So this is our new one. Yeah, so it's pretty like well known that like therapy speak is like a big thing that a lot of people, especially Gen Z and like millennials, will do.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about therapy speak with you guys. One, like, what do we think of different terms in therapy speak? And then two, just like dive into them and just have our own little therapy session. But just become part of the problem and overuse these words is essentially what I'm getting at. But I have a list.
I was like, I know that I'm angry about the overuse of some of these, but I can't bring them up
Yeah.
off the top of my head.
I got
Except overusing like
Problematic.
diagnoses. Oh, and problematic, but that's not really not necessarily a
That's not,
therapy speak thing.
Sure. The diagnosis ones, that's I don't think on this list, so let's hit that real quick. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
I think my line is I don't really care at all if anyone self-diagnoses, because whatever, it's you. You know you better than anyone else is going to know you. So sure, if you like research a topic and you're like, yeah, I feel like I check all these boxes. Okay, go talk to a professional about it.
But yeah, talk to a
But
professional
like,
about it. You
it's
shouldn't just
okay
be
to
like,
advocate for yourself. Like, it's okay to say, "Hey, I've done this research and I want to like advocate for myself." I think that's a totally valid thing to do. My issue comes in when people start trying to diagnose others.
Yeah.
That's my hard line of like, back off, don't do it. Like it's because like I don't know, it just feels like you're not gonna like if a celebrity is doing an interview and they're like fidgeting or something and you're like them fidgeting like that means that they have X, Y, and Z. Like, no, it doesn't. Like
them fidgeting like that means they've been doing this for 9 hours and are bored out of their mind.
yeah. It means like maybe they had too much coffee and they're a little over caffeinated. It could mean maybe their clothes are uncomfortable and like they're trying to get comfy. Like it could mean a million things, and seeing like a 3-second clip of someone does not give you like any sort of insight into their life. So I just think that's mean. I think it's presumptuous.
Yeah.
Speaking of those, I saw like it was someone put a compilation of Bill Hader at like interviews, and he just absolutely hates. It's like he looks so done in them. It's quite funny.
I could see that. Oh my god. Perhaps the most popular, gaslighting.
Gaslighting. As we all know, it just means lying.
Just
Apparently,
implying now.
ignore all of the psychological manipulation. It's
Yeah.
just you lie. Apparently,
So like you can be like a total liar, absolutely, whatever. But like there's like a sense of control that comes with it, right? Like that's like when it turns into actual gaslighting and is some like an aggressor trying to like exert some amount of control by like convincing someone something isn't real or something is real or whatever, just like that. But it's not just being like telling a little fib.
I
Like,
think gaslighting is more like you tell a lie when someone knows it's true.
oh,
Like if
sure.
someone sees a red car go by,
Mhm.
and then you'd be like, "Yeah, that was a weird blue car that went by."
Right.
No, it's not. It was red. It's like, no, it was clearly blue.
You're just trying to mess with their reality and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
That's more what I
making
see.
them doubt their perceptions.
Yeah. Like really, really trying to make them like I don't know, just not believe in themselves and like rely on the person like for what reality is kind of thing.
Mhm.
But you see people using it all the time for like, oh my god, we totally gaslit that person like into like thinking XYZ, but like it's just an honest to God like simple lie or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know. That one I feel like there's not much discussion around because it's like
it's
clear
just
cut.
misuse of the word.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess this one is a bit of a diagnosis, but like the idea of people calling others narcissists. Um,
Oh, I feel like
yeah.
I don't see this one as much.
Okay, I feel like I see this all the time. I want to ask.
Maybe it's
Obviously,
just not extreme enough. In when I see people like weaponizing um diagnoses, they go like full send pedophile. Of, like,
right?
you don't
Yeah.
start with the small stuff of narcissism.
Yeah.
You go straight to the deep end because everyone's lost their minds and there are
Oh
no
my
winners.
god. I guess like I might have like a warped perception of this, but I feel like most people I know someone who has like legitimately been diagnosed with narcissism. I just feel like it's a very like common thing. Like I
I'll be
know
honest, I didn't know it
multiple.
was a diagnosis. I thought it was
Oh, okay.
just.
Well, narcissistic personality disorder
Oh,
is like
interesting.
the official name, but like narcissist is just like
I always just thought it was an insult.
it feels like it. It's just
I
a bit
think
of like a term, I
it's
guess.
both, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
someone obsessed with themselves, but then
Yeah.
also it is a personality disorder
Yeah.
as well.
And like, yeah, I feel like it's a pretty common one. Like, I feel like I know a bunch of people who have it.
Who have the personality disorder?
Like legitimately diagnosed. Yeah.
Oh.
Because
I cannot say the same.
Yeah.
fair enough.
So,
Okay, but fair
whoa.
enough. Warped perception then. But yeah, I feel like it's like, um, I don't know. It kind of rubs me the wrong way in the same way that like people going like, I'm so OCD about that. Does like when they're like, I guess narcissist doesn't, but narcissism does. I think that's the unpacking. Is like,
Yeah, I think it's because narcissistic, narcissism,
Mhm.
whatever. It is just a description of a more benign thing. When it
right.
gets into like the actual disorder,
Hmm.
it might be different. But because it is just a descriptive word, I don't know. It seems like not as bad as OCD of like going
Right.
straight to the actual psychological diagnosis
Or like
instead of
bipolar.
yeah.
I feel like that's another good one. Yeah. I don't know.
Because I mean, I don't know. I was under the impression that narcissistic personality disorder is somewhat rare and
Oh,
extreme.
really?
Maybe I'm the one who's got a skewed perspective. Who knows here? We don't have a middle ground. So
we don't have like the biggest sample size to be fair. Oh man.
but so I would think that most people's knowledge of narcissism just at all is just the descriptive word, not the psychological diagnosis.
Yeah.
Totally fair. Yeah. Um And to be fair, I think like as a descriptor word, um I don't think it's like horribly misused, because it's like all it means is just a little obsessed with yourself,
Yeah, I always thought like the Greek story or whatever.
narcissist, yeah.
Yep.
And like the like personality disorder, obviously, yeah, that's like a big step further. But like just saying, oh my god, they're being such a narcissist right now, like isn't quite as extreme as people being like, oh my god, they're gaslighting me. Like I feel like it doesn't have that same punch because of that difference. um I don't know, because yeah, people can be narcissists even if they're not like suffering from a personality disorder. um like I would say every teenager is, for sure. Like every teenager is like, um I guess this is a generalization, but like most teenagers are like, I'm the center of the world right now kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's a
Not
very
necessarily
teenage
thinking about
perception.
anyone other than themselves.
Yeah. um
I did
but
Google how common narcissistic personality disorder is, and I have some varied results. It seems
okay.
up to 5%, but as low as 0.5%.
Those are
So I
very
guess studies
different.
differ
Yeah. Okay.
in the estimates of how common it is. So who knows?
Fair enough. Alrighty. Um. Yeah. Okay. People pleasing tendencies. Um. I don't think this is used in the same way that the other ones are about like an aggressive statement towards someone, so much as an excuse for oneself. Um. Like I'm just such a people pleaser. Like.
Yeah, I feel like I've
Um.
seen this one more in the sense of just like self-diagnosis or acknowledgement of your own flaws. I don't think I've ever seen it as like, "Oh, that's just how quirky and weird I am. I'm a people
Sure.
pleaser." I feel like people are like um the type of humor where you make fun of yourself. Like
Right.
that's what they're using it for.
Yeah,
Okay. Very fair. Do you guys feel like you're people pleasers?
I guess.
To an
Okay.
extent, yeah.
Fair. Yeah. Um, I think I am, but I'm mad about it. Like I think it sometimes do it like against my own will, sort of thing. Um, but like only when it comes to myself. Um, which I don't know what that says about me. But like if someone, I'm gonna use you guys so I have names. If Adam, you were like being mean to Ryan, I would be like, Adam, back off. I'd be like mad at Adam. But if you were just being mean to me, I'd be like, okay, all right, kind of thing. Like, I don't think I'd have as much to say. And I think that's when the people pleasing comes in. Like, I don't want someone to like be mad for me standing up for myself kind of thing, but I don't really care if they're mad because I stood up for someone else. I don't know.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
understand that. I would sort of more view it as like mediating conflict.
Right. Yeah. That's definitely a nicer way to put it than me being like, back off, Adam. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. Go back. Trigger.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's the one
that's
that's useful.
Yeah,
that's
probably
definitely one
most
that's
used.
overused.
Yeah.
Definitely took. I mean, just
I
have to
feel
look at like conservatives making fun of it, but
yeah.
taking like an actual PTSD terminology and being
Yeah.
like throw it everywhere.
Oh, totally. Do you guys have like thoughts on the trigger warning versus content warning debate?
I was just about to bring this up. I don't know if it was a debate. I just assumed that there's been a movement away from trigger warning because
Yeah.
conservatives have attacked it endlessly, and now it's just content warning.
I don't know if it's
Um,
from the conservative thing so much as people just being like, that's so extreme, you know? Like content warning is for more like general things, whereas trigger warning is for like there is a specific detailed story about like this sort of situation.
Maybe. I mean, I like content warning better.
Yeah.
My understanding of triggers is that they're very specific to the person.
Right.
So you can't really have a trigger warning because it's going to be unique to every individual from based on their own experiences, whatever. And it could be innocuous, so you have no idea what's going to set someone off. And so you can't possibly warn for everything. But you can do content warnings for big things.
Mm-hmm.
And those are easily accessible and have always been done for like rating systems for TV movies and stuff. So I don't know. Seems more wide-ranging, generalized if you do it that way instead of trigger warnings.
Yeah. Dependence and codependence.
Taxes.
Yep.
Let's have a different movement where we overuse tax terminology. So it's meaningless and maybe we have to fix our tax system.
You're being a real W2 right now. Oh my god. But no, like I feel like codependence is used a lot more than dependence. Like because dependence to me seems like I don't know. It doesn't, I guess, have the same like memory in my mind of like either talking to people or seeing people online talking, being like, oh my god, they're so codependent, like stuff like that. And I feel like it also has been like changed. It's definitely like I'm debating whether or not to tell like a personal story in this. Hang on. Yeah, I'll just use neutral. But like I had a friend who like I've had my whole host of like health issues. And I was in the ER having a real bad time getting some things sorted out. And I messaged this friend and I was like, hey, I'm in the ER, because sometimes you tell your friends when things happen in your life. And this person's response, it was on Snapchat, and you know how you can do like 2 separate lines of text in like a picture message?
Yeah.
So the first one was, hey, can you send me those pictures you took of me for my Instagram? And then the second one was, what's up? But like not too worried or anything. And like after I had gotten back, I was like, kind of like I just like made a joke about it. I didn't really want to like fight or anything. I was like, kind of whack, you asked for pictures before why I was in the ER. And they were like, you're being like really codependent right now. And I was like, okay. And they're like, I just think you're like really, really codependent towards me. And I was like, okay. And I feel like that's typically the way I've seen it misused online, is being like a perfectly reasonable like expectation for a relationship, whether it be like friendship or romantic or even like familial. And people being like, I don't know, it just seems kind of codependent to me. It's like, I don't think it is. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever heard of that, but that is crazy.
Yeah,
that someone would do that.
Yeah.
What's the difference between codependent and
codependent, I think, is like, okay, I have it pulled up here. So dependent is typically thought of as dealing with like addiction. So like dependent on a thing or substance kind of thing. Codependency refers to a relationship, and it's like very one-sided. So it says codependency usually stems from individuals with a dysfunctional family, where one person sacrifices their own wants and needs in order to fulfill the wants and needs of their partner. And so like the partner that's needs are being fulfilled by the one that is codependent. Like they're not like putting in any effort. They're like, you know, having it all filled kind of thing. Yeah. But it's just like specific terminology for lots of things. But like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I see it used inaccurately a lot.
I mean, that person definitely used
The
to
hot
it
person
inaccurately.
sucks.
Jeez, that person really sucked.
Yeah. It happens, you know? But yeah, I think um people need to learn about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Ooh, love bombing.
Mm.
love bombing.
Yes. I feel like this is like rarely have I seen it online about I just experienced love bombing or something like that. Most often you see it referred to as like this celebrity relationship kind of thing. Um like oh what they're doing right now is love bombing. Like they just had a fight but now this person's like posting all about them like blah blah blah, blah kind of thing. When it's like, you know, you don't know. It goes back to the you don't know their lives thing.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
don't assume celebrity. You don't know them. You're not their friends.
Yeah,
yeah. I've
Just the
seen that a lot.
character that you see. Yeah.
right.
I have seen this like one a lot in person. It's
Oh,
definitely a lot of
really?
guys do.
Really? Wait, okay. I want to hear more of your perception of
I
this.
can't think of like any specific examples, but a lot of guys will do it where it's like they're just like everything, like buying really nice things or like spending lots of money. That's not
Sure.
like how
Yeah,
you. I don't know. Like some guys view it as like that's like the way you like Carlo. That's not it exactly. Like yes, that
sure.
stuff is nice, but like that shouldn't be like everything.
Yeah, I've also like in past relationships had guys be like that as an apology sort of thing. Like if they do something that's like mildly fucked up, then they're like instead of having like a genuine like sit down conversation, they're like, "Oh, I bought you chocolates. I brought you flowers, like blah blah blah, like all this sort of thing." It's like I would rather like have honest like expectations set for going forward, like
Yeah,
communication.
and also I think it can be like a little overlap into like
Sure.
they only like their
Mm, yeah. I think love bombing though, like the technical term is referred to as like after there's been like some extreme abuse, then
uh
like trying to keep the victim like happy is to say like, oh, like I just got a little mad, like I'm so sorry, like very like kind and like comforting after intense abuse. Like it's popular in like cults. Um, yeah. Um, yeah. Like if someone's like, I want to leave the cult, then they get like really, really fucked up and then they get love bombing.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, to my knowledge, I've never been in a cult. Um, I guess I can't say from experience.
Darn.
Um, okay. Trauma and victim.
I don't know. I definitely have seen it used online where it's a little like
Yeah.
overly. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of times people use it to like make their sit a little. Perhaps what it is.
Yeah, I was
Right.
thinking, I don't know if I've seen like it incorrectly used as much as maybe exact. I don't want to assume people's situations, but maybe exaggeration. I think some people like the attention they get from sympathy from
Sure.
when they have a or have
Sure.
had traumatic past, and then they'll overuse it,
Yeah.
Right.
and maybe they have had. I don't want to assume their situation, but
Right.
I don't know if I've necessarily seen it misused.
I don't think
Just
so
maybe
either.
overused for in a personal
Yeah.
sense, and not
Yeah.
really diagnosing other people.
Yes. I rarely see like I'm sure I have seen it, but it's definitely not as bad about people being like, "Oh, they have trauma." Like I don't see that as much.
Yeah,
Um but like I am a firm believer in like everybody has some trauma, like whether it be like medical trauma, whether it be losing a loved one, whether it be like you got picked last all the time at kickball. I don't know. Like
sure.
I
Yeah,
like things
everyone has
impact
experiences. Yeah,
people.
Yeah.
Like
Everyone's got something they're dealing with.
exactly. So like I don't get as like okay when I see that used like personally because it's like okay, yeah, like they probably do. I don't know their lives kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Yeah. Um Victim though, I feel like I never see apart from like assault victims of various sorts, but that's like a legal term. I feel like I don't really see people being like genuinely like I'm a victim. Like
I've seen that one a lot.
really?
Now that you've said that exact word, I've absolutely seen that.
And I've seen it
Really?
misused a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh
is super
no.
common.
I feel like I never see that.
I think there are
Oh,
certain groups that really love to think that they are being discriminated against when they are not, and they will
sure.
overuse the
Okay.
victim terminology.
I
That's
just remembered I have this whole complete experience where I spent many years as a hall director and an RA. And holy cow, these terms get so overused. All the ones we've talked about,
fascinating.
actually, now I
Oh
think
my
about it.
god.
I feel my biggest frustration with it is like, yes, people are going through a lot, but a lot of times
Yeah.
people use these labels to like set a barrier for like, I have this, so I can't do that. In some cases, that
Mhm.
Um
is true, but in other cases,
mhm,
it's like, you've not tried it. Like,
sure.
your barriers shouldn't define who you
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like using an excuse of why they can't change or why they can't adapt or something. They're just like, I'm not even going to try
Yeah.
it,
One
for
of
this
my
reason.
biggest pet peeves, like as someone who's, been through my fair share of shit, like I hate it when people use like any sort of like mental or past history or thing as like an excuse to be like a bad person,
Yeah.
especially when they're like I feel like the most like common one that I've seen is like a guy gets cheated on and then he's like, so I hate women. Women are
Yeah.
awful. I'm gonna be so mean to women now because I had a bad experience with one woman. It's like, do you know how many women have so many bad experiences with so many men? I'm sorry, you don't get to use that. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god. But yeah, I just don't think like past experiences are ever an excuse to like be a bad person. Um, it's totally an excuse to like have your own boundaries and stuff, but not unreasonably, I guess. Um, yeah.
And I think some people, when they get caught being a bad person, bring up
Yeah.
these terminologies as a shield
It's
of
an
like,
excuse.
oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I
Yeah.
have whatever, or
Yeah.
am whatever, or this is whatever,
Mhm. And
And
I
then
mean,
they shut the conversation down. You can't deal with them anymore because they've brought up this shield. And that's the whole point.
literally, in the same case of the story about like the codependent person, right? Of like, I was like, hey, kind of, wow, wacky, kind of calling them out on like, I was in the ER and you asked for Instagram pictures, as like the first question. And so when the immediate response was like, you're codependent, it's like, I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I don't want to be codependent. Like, I don't want to be like using them kind of thing. And like, of course, looking back on it, you're like, oh, clearly that's not what was going on. But like, it absolutely is like a response, like defense sort of thing to say like, here's this like therapy, like technical term, like you can't go past this boundary kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about like the anxiety and like depression ones? Because like by all technicalities, everyone experiences anxiety and everyone like totally can experience like situational depression, like without a doubt. But both of these are also things that have like clinical versions. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is
Mhm.
another one where I see where people use it as an excuse, and it's like, I don't know, because I've also witnessed people that like are very seriously like suffering from anxiety or
Yeah.
suffering from depression, and so
Yeah.
I see that, and I see some people that like use it as an excuse, and
Mm.
it's annoying because it's
Yeah.
That's
like,
very
okay, like
fair.
maybe that's true, but like still do stuff. there are some people that experience it so bad that like it was some.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's hard. Yeah.
And it kind of cheapens it of like the
Yeah.
clinical impressions of they are really debilitating and make it really hard for those suffering to live a normal life at all. And when people are like, "Oh, I can't do this because I have anxiety,"
Yeah.
like, okay, well, maybe,
Yeah.
but come on.
But
And
everyone
also like
experiences like anxiety, and everyone probably experiences some
Yeah.
form of depression.
Yeah.
People get sad, like that's like a normal part
Yeah.
of being. And I feel
Absolutely.
like sometimes people don't realize that, and like
Mhm.
it's not uncommon to get those feelings a lot, but like
Right.
that shouldn't be.
But then also if it's becoming one, like if you are like feeling like I'm too anxious to do that ever kind of thing, maybe you do have like significant enough anxiety and you should like talk to somebody about
Yeah,
that.
I think kind of across the board for everything, people should take accountability and responsibility for whatever they might be suffering from. Of like,
Yeah.
yeah, you might be, and if you are concerned that you have anxiety, you should see a professional. But you
Exactly.
shouldn't be like, oh, I actually can't be disciplined for this bad thing I did because I have anxiety.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah. Yeah. I think that's totally fair. And like I feel very similarly about um like depression. Because I mean, especially after the pandemic, I just don't think there's a human being alive who hasn't experienced like some amount of depression, you know? And so it's like it's definitely like a scary thing to deal with if you've never dealt with it before. But like you gotta deal with it. Like you gotta do things about it. Yeah, I don't know. I think so we missed National Mental Health Awareness Month by a whole last month. It was in May.
Oh,
So
Couple of at this point,
yeah.
worldwide, maybe.
Um yeah, so that being said though, NAMI is like a really good resource, 10 out of 10, for like finding health, like mental health professionals in your area and everything. ZenCare, shout out. Um, that's a really good one for like locating therapists and everything, completely free. I think people should check it out. It's a great time. ZenCare especially, just a little high yours because that's the one that I use to find mine. Like not a sponsor, but they totally should be. Um, it's basically like um you put in all of these filters of like what you're looking for in a therapist, if you're even looking for a therapist versus like a psychiatrist versus a counselor, various things. um and you can put in like what insurance you have, like not your information or anything, but just like what provider. And they'll find a bunch of like professionals that you're looking for. You can say like, I want someone who's like LGBTQIA plus friendly or L plus friendly. You can say like, I want someone who's like the same like religious denomination and or lack thereof that I am. You can say like, I want a woman versus a man. I want to talk about like career struggles or family or whatever. Like you can filter the shit out of it and it'll help you find someone that's not only like doing what you're looking for, but also like um ideally in your network of providers, which is even better because healthcare is tough in America. So
Really
it's
is.
nice when there's resources to help with that. um but yeah, that's my high horse of everyone should try it. Because it's a good time. Not really. It's a real tough time to
But
do
it's
therapy.
beneficial.
It's so good. It's like working out. It's working out your brain, you know? It's working out your heart. Like your soul heart, not your physical heart. Yeah, just to like it's a thing that you're like, but then afterward you're like, wow, I feel so much better. You know? All right. What rate on y'all's parades?
Say that Sudoku for your birthday.
You know, my grandfather, in an effort to avoid Alzheimer's, did Sudoku and crossword puzzles every day. He never got Alzheimer's.
Just as good as therapy.
Well, I feel like he had a lot of unresolved things that he probably could have dealt with. The man was dating like 6 women all at once. So because even the Lord rested on the 7th day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think therapy's maybe in addition to Sudoku. I think he could do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mentioned this already, you guys, but I took my car in to get an update, an anti-theft update. That's 3.5 hours. That time I watched Hercules and The Lion King.
Ooh, was it the live action or the animated?
The animated.
Thank God. Oh man. And then they tell you like it was only gonna be a 30-minute kind of
They
thing.
did, and they lied.
Oh man.
And I don't even know what they did. They put a little sticker on the side of my door that's like, this car is anti-theft prevention.
I would love it if that's all they did.
That's what I was wondering. Took them 3.5 hours to do that.
They're like,
Just to
wow,
get
we
a
just
chest
couldn't
spray.
find the sticker. They're like really digging the back for a
Get
while.
the air bubbles out with a credit card. Oh man.
No, speaking of the live action, I saw The Little Mermaid.
How was it?
It wasn't bad. I liked it.
Okay. I was the Lin-Manuel Miranda song.
Oh, he's Lin-Manuel Miranda. It was okay.
Sure is.
Is there only one Lin-Manuel?
Well, because most of them are this like
They
song.
added
Oh,
a
just the
few
same from the
songs.
last
I
one.
like.
Oh, okay.
They added some fun stuff.
Okay.
Like Prince Eric has like a bit of a character.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah,
Wow,
because
shocking.
I don't think he had any character in the.
It was I love the sea, but now I love this woman. But now I love this other woman because she can actually talk. But I love this woman again. That was it.
Yeah. I don't know. They expand on it a little bit, which I think is good. Melissa
Sounds like
McCarthy's great.
Love her.
He's really great in everything.
Absolutely.
Even in like bad comedies, he does her
Even
best.
good girls.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
The end scene was a little silly though.
Oh.
As like King Triton goes and says goodbye to Ariel. I don't know. I need to give spoilers. This movie's already out.
Right. It's
but like
at most they have like some sort of extra detail here and there, but same general vibe.
Yeah, like Eric and Ariel are rowing away in a boat, and like King Triton comes out, and he's like his neck is like above the water. It just looks very silly, where he's like trying to stay afloat.
Oh.
Where it's like this definitely looked a lot better in the animated.
Right. Yeah. That's fair. Darn.
But it was good. I liked it.
Yeah. Fair enough. What about you, Adam?
I guess I got a new apartment, as I said.
Yeah.
And then, as I said to you guys before, I got totally scammed through fees. Just, rent's already so expensive. And then it was $70 application fee per person. So I ended up 3 fees because I go for 9 and then my dad co-signed because I have no proof of any income at all.
Right.
I don't have a job.
Yeah.
Yet.
And then they don't have a security deposit. Instead, they charge a $350 move-in fee per person, so $700, which is absurd.
Yeah.
And I asked many times to multiple people what it was for, and they were like, "It's for normal wear and tear and admin costs." We're like, okay, it means nothing.
So it's for nothing.
It's for nothing. It's because you can.
It's because you like money.
Yeah. Did you see
So,
how long of a movement time you have?
what do you mean? Like, well, we move in August,
Okay.
so
So some places have like dedicated movement times where you have to sign up and you'll get like 3 hours
What?
to
oh,
move in, especially like if they have like a freight elevator.
this is
Oh,
kind of a,
that makes
a
sense actually.
small building, so I don't think we have.
Gotcha. You might get the whole day then.
Yeah, I
Um,
think we. Yeah, probably.
my
It's like a four. There's like different buildings, and there's like just a. I don't know how many actually. There's just a few per building, so
Yeah.
I'd imagine we wouldn't be as restricted as if we were in a big.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm in like a series of 4 buildings as well, and there's only one elevator that we have all day to use.
Sure.
Like, that makes sense.
Mhm.
But my uncle once moved into a place in 30 minutes.
Could
Get in, get out.
never.
It's like moving into the dorms. You
Yeah,
just
seriously.
go.
Yep.
I actually really loved our college's system for that, to have people just like the frats just like
Frats
do
just
it.
grab stuff, and
They
you're like,
just
will
take
that end up on
everything
our
and
room?
put it somewhere.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm like, I
They'll
hope I
put
see
it
that again.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like uh thinking. Those wildfires, man, global warming,
yeah.
it's a real bummer. Don't know if you heard about it or not. But it was real icky and smoggy. Oh, and you know what? Actually, this is a rant now. I did a lot of driving in this past week. And I don't know what about the car that I drive in screams tailgate me, but like big pickup trucks just riding my car's ass, like just like with their brights on all the time. And that is, ooh, I hate it. Cause like I'm a solid stay in the right lane, like the rightmost lane that won't end. So if it's gonna go into a turn lane, I'll be one over kind of thing. But I go in the slowest lane and I go the speed limit up to like 5 miles per hour above the speed limit. Because in high school that's what they taught us you wouldn't get charged for.
You can go
So
up to 7.
oh Pennsylvania taught me 5.
I guess that's what it is in Illinois. I had a police officer
Fair.
tell me that. You have up to 7 miles for plausible deniability.
Love that. But yeah, I'll go a solid 5 above if I'm feeling frisky. And normally I'll do that if there's a lot of people because I don't want to be in somebody's way. But like when there's so many lanes, so many options to just pass me because I'm not in your way, like I hate it when people like tailgate. That's my rant.
Yeah.
It's so annoying and stressful. And then like they have like the industrial brights where you just can't
Yeah.
see anything through your mirrors. Ugh. It's so dangerous
be
and
illegal.
stupid. Yeah.
It probably is illegal.
Probably,
Not
but
really
who's gonna
enforced.
stop them?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my rant. It's always like a black pickup truck. Not that I can think of pickup trucks in like various other colors. I feel like in all of the commercials, they're always like that sleek, like.
Well, it's not
black.
manly if it's not black.
So true. Yeah. Oh my god. Could you imagine a blue one? Loser.
A purple one.
Ew. Oh my god. Could never.
Did you know that the
What
most
kind of
sold
cowboy
car
are
in
you?
America is a truck?
Makes sense for
I
America.
think it's every 1 in 5 Americans.
Ooh, you know what I also hate? This is not a type of person, but a type of car. Those ones that look like a truck and a car had a baby.
SUV?
No, it's where they have like the long back, but it's kind of covered.
What?
Yeah, I'll
But
find some.
they have a pickup truck bed, but it's covered.
Partially. Yeah,
An El Camino?
I don't know what that is. Truck car mix is what I'm googling.
Are you sure it's
Hmm.
not an SUV?
No, because isn't an SUV like a mom car?
It's like a big minivan. Like the beefy model.
Oh no, those I love. Those are
Okay.
great. Those are 10 out of 10. No
Great.
problems with them.
SUVs are
Um,
like the worst cars around. They're horrible
They're-
for the environment.
well, I mean, I don't consider myself a scientist
Fair enough.
other than the
Trucks are
political
actually
sorts.
quite good,
But
which
yeah,
is weird. There is like an idea of like, what if we just give everyone trucks? That would do horrible damage to our infrastructure. Parking lots are not made for trucks.
you
And
were
people who
so
drive
right.
trucks don't know how to park.
Yeah,
No,
and
they
trucks have
don't.
consistently gotten bigger over the years because people want nicer cabs. So
You
like the
literally
truck in
nailed
itself
it,
hasn't
though,
increased.
Ryan. It was an El Camino, yeah.
Oh,
Like
okay.
that fucking. It looks like a toddler drew it.
I don't think I've ever
Um,
seen
You don't
that
like
truck
El
in real life.
Caminos?
No, there's so
Wow.
many of them over here, and
Huh.
I just think like every time I see one, it's not that I like am mad at them. I'm just disappointed in them for choosing that car. Like it's just such a stupid little thing. Like why does that exist? Like
Pretty
when
compact,
those
yeah.
like plush toy companies will like get a picture from a kindergartner and they'll like turn that horrible picture into a plush doll. It's like they did that with a car, and now people drive them.
Yeah.
I don't like 'em. The El Camino is like a great example, but I've also seen some like taller ones, and I think they're just as stupid.
I have a
Um,
friend that his dream car is an orange El Camino.
I don't want to know 'em.
They're nice cars.
Well, I mean, they
They're
look
definitely older
like
cars.
yeah.
Very
I
stylized.
I can't really talk about like style because I drove like an Oldsmobile, which is like the biggest boat of a car. But like I don't know. At least it looked like a car. Um, Alrighty. Well, don't drive an El Camino. What are you doing? Stop it. Trade it. get
I don't think
get
you're gonna
out of
convince anyone
here.
there.
Use therapy speak in appropriate ways. Be understanding of others. Don't try to understand others so much that you know better than themselves. That was a long-winded way of saying don't diagnose others unless you're a professional and they came to you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's like kind of your job. You should do it. They're paying you a lot, probably. All right. Have a Sunny Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.